You have probably heard the advice be nicer to yourself, be kinder to yourself, give yourself more grace. Now, let me tell you a secret. That advice has actually never resonated with me. And I know it sounds like a terrible thing to say. I mean, who is opposed to niceness? Who says they don't want to be kind? But here's why I've struggled to make this advice resonate for me, and I think you might have too. To my brain, be nicer to yourself sounds awfully close to let yourself do bad work. Let the standards slip without consequences. And I don't want to let my standards slip. So I guess that means I can't be nice to myself. So let me give you a different way to think about it. Don't be nice to yourself. Instead, take yourself in good faith. Here's what I mean. I want you to imagine that you have a rock star analyst on your team. Whatever work you ask them to do, they crush it. They are reliable, they're proactive, they are whip smart, they always go above and beyond, and you freaking love them. And then suddenly, one day, out of nowhere, they just don't turn in the work that they said they would turn in. You ask them to build a financial model, and they just don't do it. Now, being nice to them would look like you saying, "Oh, it's okay. You don't have to make the model. Let's just remove the financial model from the project scope altogether." You probably wouldn't do that. You asked for the model for a reason, and you probably don't want to move forward without it. But at the same time, you probably wouldn't berate and yell at your rockstar analyst to get them to build the model. They are your rockstar analyst, after all. They normally do great work, and this is a weird one-off. And so you would probably take them in good faith. And taking them in good faith would look like you saying to them, "Hey, what's up? That's weird. You didn't do your work like you normally do. So what's going on?" You would assume that they had a good reason for suddenly not working. You would figure out what that reason is, and then you would decide how to move forward given whatever that reason is. And if their reason was, "I just had a massive family tragedy, and that's why I couldn't work on the model," you'd probably say, "Okay, totally get it. Let's give you some time to recover, deal with what's going on, and I'll see if I can get someone else to work on the model, or if we can just delay things for a bit." On the other hand, if their reason was, "Actually, I think there's some key information that we need to go get before we start building the model," then you'd say, "Great, I'd love to hear your idea." And you might even take it on board and adjust your plan. So you would react totally differently based on what reason your rockstar analyst gave you. But the most important thing is that you would believe ahead of time that they had a good reason for suddenly flaking on you. And you would ask them, "What's up?" And you would listen to them in good faith. Now, that's what I want you to do instead of being nice to yourself. You don't have a rockstar analyst, you have a rockstar brain. And when it suddenly just doesn't want to do something that you wanted to do, when it suddenly wants to procrastinate or avoid something or panic or cancel your plans or back away from a big opportunity, don't berate it. Don't be nice to it in that lower your standards without consequences kind of way, but instead take it in good faith. Believe that it has a reason for doing what it's doing, even if you don't yet know what that reason is. And then ask your brain what its reason is and listen to the answer and take that answer on board and see what you want to do next. Now, it is weirdly hard to do this in your own head. It feels like it should be easy. I mean, you and your brain are like right there next to each other all the time. You can't get away from each other. And yet it is very hard for you guys to talk to each other. When it's all in your head, the conversation kind of goes too fast, it jumps around too much, and it can be hard to get anywhere. It is much easier to do this in conversation with another person. Talking to someone else forces your brain to slow down. It forces your brain to actually articulate what it's thinking rather than just giving you vague feelings. And it gives you the chance to respond to one thing at a time and give new ideas to your brain to consider. And when you have this conversation with a coach, the coach can use their expertise to help direct this conversation. I spend all my time helping my clients have this exact conversation with themselves. I know all the tips and tricks to make it faster and more efficient. I know how to avoid the pitfalls and the random rabbit holes that your brain wants to go down. I know how to get things jump-started when you suddenly get stuck. And I know how to help you find the destination that you are looking for, which is alignment. that feeling when all the parts of you are back in harmony once again, when all the wheels on your car are turning in the same direction, and you can just get back to doing your best work and being the version of you that you most enjoy being. So come get a sample of coaching with free anonymous public coaching. The link to book one of those calls is above, or come talk to me about working together and making the relationship between you and your rockstar brain the best relationship in your life. The link to book a free consult call is above.